Hi guys, welcome to the ISO Builder. The topic of the video is a series of welcome applications. So when you create a distribution, and you can do so by following all the guidelines that we've provided on ArcoLinuxISO.com, right? And at some point in time you may want to, if you got enough knowledge, create your own distribution. And there is a guide for that. There is a complete guide which links also to ALCI websites and to others, right? So it's, I don't know, 100 articles, maybe more. So it's all explained in all these Kali references, but also on ALCI, and I'm sure you can learn something about a writer in the process. The same, it's all about knowledge. Okay. Welcoming app. You want to greet your user. We have something called Ctrl-Alt-W, right? This is our welcome app. Now, before going into my own, I'll show you that there is, well, you just navigate, go to the internet, right? Go to the internet and have a look. And what distros, what welcome app do you like? Like, for instance, we're gonna tackle in this video the Manjaro Hello. So Manjaro Hello, of course, it goes without saying, but I should say it each and every single time probably, is if you're going to use the code of others, ask permission. Even though it's all shared and all online, and maybe there's indeed something saying here about the how to say that, the license and stuff like that, right? Even if, right, me personally, I'll just mail and say, okay, could we please use it? I rarely get a no, right? But it's polite. So Manjaro Hello, if you don't know what it looks like, maybe we should just Manjaro Hello and see what we get as images. Because of course you need to choose, what do I like? What do I want on my system? These are old images. This is a more recent, I think, or this is the more recent. Anyway, it looks like that. And if you want to have something similar, you can git clone. Maybe I should better learn you to git clone rather to tar gz and extract, because then you see later on, within a month, within a year, you do git pull. It's a command in a terminal, and the new code comes in because it was authored 4 months ago by Philip. And it will be updated and updated and updated. So you get the updates in as well. So clone then. Let's take this guy. And then we go to the desktop. It's where I put all stuff that are at this point in time important. Git clone Ctrl-Shift-V. All right. And we got our code from Manjaro. So if you want to keep this thing and leave this thing alone. This is the original one. Then you start making a copy, and then you say, this is my hello, right? And you play in this one. And this code is gonna be a future code. And then maybe we should do something about setting up stuff as well. It all depends, right? You need an editor. You need something to open up your, well, data here. So launch looks like a very interesting thing. Either you use Sublime Text or Visual Studio Code, VS Codium, Mousepad maybe, right? Or other editors. Simple as that. I'm just gonna double click and then you read. So he's going to do some things. There is a reference to a home test GNOME layout, so that's not gonna work. I don't have that. And then locale, make directory locale, and so on, all kinds of things that we see in here. And then finally, this is the line. Go to source, open up Manjaro Hello Py, so we're working with Python, and there is some switch called dev, so development probably, right? So in order to make this your own, well, first thing, you need to change this thing. You need to rename things. Anything called Manjaro needs to go out of the window, and it will become your brand, your name, right? An icon for it as well. as you see here, maybe things you need to still create. So in the source we have Manjaro hello Pi, and then we open it with Python, and he's gonna take Python 3 and then Manjaro, and then you analyze. He's going to look at hello line 446, and then he's going to look at line 142, and we say here type error non-descriptable. So there are things here that it doesn't understand, and what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do first, because I'm gonna use a launch thingy, right? Launch sh. This gives you another image. This gives you an image of line that and line that and line that. So in source, Manjaro hello, he wants to go to 441. These are all things you have to analyze line per line. It's code, right? He wants to know the code name of our etc LSB release. All right. He's going to go to your system, whatever system you're on, and it's gonna go and see what's the content of this thing. So double click this, and it's going to look at this. This is our content on Manjaro, and on your thing, right? It's gonna be different. It has code name, it has release here. So it has code name, no code name, it has release. So if I put code in there, or is it code name, and then save. Let's see if that works. And then it works. Other option, since this is my ISO builder, I don't want to mess with my ISO builder. I'm going to save this again, back to normal. Then I say here the code name, whatever, right? I don't need the code name. It's just for now. I just want to see, do I like this? Is this the thing I want? Will I put time in it to make this thing not Manjaro, but make it my own? I've already played around with it, that's why it's in Danish now. So it remembered what language it was. And many of the buttons have been translated, but not to README. So it's entirely up to you what resources you have. But if you don't have a translation, right, just keep it in English. But the buttons, anyway, this is gonna look good. Problem is, you'll need other buttons, your buttons. So this is the languages, the PO files. But the thing is, yeah, it requires knowledge and people translating it for you, because Vietnamese, not really, right? So that's a thing, that's a decision you have to make. So in these folders, right, he's gonna go, and it's already finished here, so 500 lines. He's gonna get the user interface. So you really need just to have a look at everything. So the user interface, this is the style, how it's gonna look, base CSS, okay. And the guys who have already built a little bit of websites, they might recognize these things. Okay, border, radius, fine, border, none, okay, cool. So not really any colors or anything, it's just the borders and the padding. And then we have the look. I've installed probably Glade because he already knows it. Sudo pacman -s Glade. It's an application, right? Yay, Glade. Where is it? User interface builder for GTK 2+ applications. Okay, so we're working with GTK. Yes. Okay. Let's open this up. And we got this. Sublime Text takes charge, right? So you say, no. This should be installed. This should be opened with the Glade. Where is Glade? Open with other application. And let's see, Glade. Was it not installed? Sudo pacman -s glade. Right. And then right mouse click. Oh, well, it was not installed. So this gives us an overview of all the things. Well, that's a pity. Well, better. Of all the elements and the boxes and all that. So if you click these things, you have actually elements. And every of these elements, don't forget the tabs, can be set. This is the GUI. Anything can happen on a file as well. He is just reading a file, right? So the forum is here, involved is here, the wiki is here. So if you want to change things, it's all gonna be looking out for what, where to change. And here is the label with optional image. The wiki, right? And you start saving, Control S. So this is, well, maybe something to do on a paper first and say, okay, this is gonna be my layout, and then finally decide, okay, I'm gonna reuse the forum probably, or a README, release info. Some of the things you will reuse, and other things you'll say, I want something else. Or you just don't want these languages because you're not ready yet. So you're gonna hide these things. So right mouse click, have a look at that as well. If there's any possibility to change things that way. Focus on click, right? Start, common, visible, here he is. Visible, not visible, by is gone. Control S, Q, stopping. Now, let's close this one. Let's see what I have. And this one is my ls release. Okay, so when we go back to the top, I've made a few changes, very small changes. And we launch this thing again, like so. It's gonna look like this. Where's this, right? And what's happening to the wiki? So things like that, that's how you should proceed now. I'm not gonna make anything, change anything anymore. But of course I've not read everything, but you should read everything. The changelog, the README, the utils, this is creating languages. And I don't know if we can actually edit these things. So yes, we can, but then you need to know your language. You need to know your stuff, right? Can't load page is this in MET, whatever that is. Let's have a look. MET, where's that? Can we read it somewhere? Transflex thing. Probably missing it, not seeing it. But here it's a language, right? One of the languages. And Cat Valencia is Catalan probably, or Spanish. And it's not yet translated. There is nothing there. So it's gonna be English. Simple as that. And what else? There is data. So you're gonna need to change some images maybe. Maybe you don't like these images. Maybe you want to add one more. So add them there. Pages. Involved README release. If there is something he's gonna use it. Well, no, it's English. This is Russian. And that's a README. So if it's translated, it can be used. So there's really, yeah. Here are some other things you need to change, and because it's all Manjaro, right? You have to change the words Manjaro into your name everywhere, anywhere. It's a lot of work, but like I said, maybe first ask somebody at Manjaro, could we use it, please? And then you can stand on the shoulders of others, and that's basically what we do. We thank Linus Torvalds and all the Linux kernel guys for exactly the same thing. We're standing on their shoulders and we're using their kernel, and everything is fine. So that's one video already about the welcome app, right? One of the welcome apps. I will touch others from other distros as well. Cheers.